You won't believe what's hiding beneath our feet. Throughout history, ancient maps, lost diaries, and declassified documents all point to one terrifying mystery: an entire world beneath the earth, hidden from us. An advanced civilization, portals and forbidden zones, or something no one dares to name. It was never on the news. No headlines, but it's real, and it's all connected. The missing admiral, the intercepted signals, the screams from below. The real question is, what if it sits all true? They say some old maps don't just show countries, but hidden portals. One of the most controversial was found inside the Library of Congress, marking an entrance to an underground world right at the North Pole. The name scribbled on the paper sounded like it came out of a fantasy novel, Agartha. But whoever drew this map knew too much to be a coincidence. According to explorers and occultists, Agartha is an advanced city inside the Earth, lit by an energy source science doesn't yet understand. The strangest part, similar maps were found in Tibetan temples and Nazi archives. How could such distant cultures describe the same hidden place? But what truly sent chills down people's spines was the source of that first map. A man who claimed he came from Agartha. He vanished soon after. Many say the map is just a myth, but the coordinates point to a place where no satellite shows anything. And that's when things began to spiral out of control. In 1947, Admiral Richard E. Byrd led a mission called Operation High Jump. Officially, it was a scientific expedition to Antarctica. But leaked documents and entries from Byrd's personal diary tell a different story. Byrd allegedly flew beyond the ice and entered an underground world he never publicly reported to the government. According to his recovered diary, he crossed an opening in the ice and was intercepted by aircraft unlike anything known. They escorted him to a subterranean city, warm, lush, and inhabited by beings who spoke an unknown language. They called him by name as if they'd been expecting him. When Byrd returned, he was silenced. His superiors marked everything classified, and the mission was shut down. He died not long after, and the diary disappeared, only to resurface decades later, anonymously. But that was just the beginning. The Hollow Earth theory doesn't just talk about caves and tunnels, it speaks of entire civilizations that are much older than ours. Some believe the so-called Sumerian or Atlantean gods never left Earth. They just retreated underground. From there they observe, control, and maybe influence. Accounts of humanoid giants with glowing eyes and advanced technology appear in ancient texts, even in the writings of Edmund Halley, the man behind Halley's Comet. He believed the Earth was composed of inner layers inhabited by conscious beings, and that earthquakes were caused by their movement. Even more unsettling are recent testimonies from scientists, miners, and even soldiers who've heard mechanical sounds and unexplainable lights deep within the Earth's crust, as if something down there was trying to come out. And that led to an even darker discovery. Have you ever noticed how no satellite shows the North Pole clearly? There's always a dark zone on real-time maps, a blur, an omitted area never explained. NASA says it's due to technical limitations. But insiders and whistleblowers suggest something else: the real entrance to an underground world. A former agent from the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency revealed that satellites are programmed to avoid certain coordinates. Every time they try to capture images over polar zones, the system glitches, as if something is interfering. A magnetic field, a technological barrier, or something intelligent? Even more bizarre, Soviet satellite records during the Cold War detected heat signatures and strange lights coming from the Arctic center. Lights that shouldn't exist in such frozen regions. If what they say is true, Earth isn't just what we see from the outside. And the next clue lies where no one dared to go. Long before satellites and planes, Tibetan monks spoke of inner Earth kingdoms. Records from the Lhasa monastery mention a place called Shambhala, described as a hidden empire beneath the Himalayas, inhabited by enlightened beings with unimaginable knowledge and technology. They said this civilization existed long before ours. Western explorer Nicholas Roerich, in his 1920s expedition, claimed he saw strange lights rising from the mountains. A monk allegedly told him, "Those are the guardians of Shambhala. They watch the surface world." What seemed like a myth took a dark turn when ancient maps revealed trails and caves leading to never-explored locations. The creepiest part, many of these paths were sealed with forbidden symbols and warnings of catastrophic consequences if opened. But some doors have already been unlocked, and what came out left traces we can't ignore anymore. Here's something they don't want you to know. There are military bases where no one should be. Frozen wastelands, uninhabitable zones, guarded by advanced tech and armed forces. Why? One of the most famous is Vostok Station in Antarctica. Officially, it's a science base, but what lies beneath the ice is another level of secrecy. Scientists discovered Lake Vostok, a massive underground lake sealed for over 15 million years, untouched since before the dinosaurs. After drilling, sensors picked up unknown life forms and symmetrical structures beneath the ice. Not long after, the area was locked down. No one else allowed in. Some believe what they found wasn't natural, that they opened a portal or awakened something. Soon after, reports of magnetic anomalies, equipment failure, and strange disappearances surfaced. Something woke up, and then another hole was discovered, even farther south. In 2017, satellite images showed a massive circular formation in Antarctica. It looked like a crater, but its perfect symmetry was eerie. The hole was about 30 kilometers wide and appeared out of nowhere. Scientists rushed to explain how such a formation could exist, but none of it added up. Weeks later, it vanished from the maps. Weather tracking and civilian satellite sites had their data blocked. The crater was removed from public records. Users who posted screenshots online were banned and labeled conspiracy theorists. According to the official narrative, the hole never existed, but copies of the images live on in the dark corners of the internet. So what if that wasn't just a sinkhole? What if it was an entrance, a gateway to Earth's core that someone wanted to reseal? A door meant to stay closed until the right time. But what are they trying to keep in? In 1989, Soviet scientists conducted the Kola super deep borehole experiment, drilling over 12 kilometers into the Earth's crust, the deepest in human history. They expected rock and pressure, but what they captured wasn't geological. They lowered a special thermal microphone to record tectonic movement. Instead, they picked up what sounded like human screams, muffled, mixed with metallic scraping noises. The engineers halted drilling immediately. Some reportedly had mental breakdowns and abandoned the project forever. The Russian press dismissed it as mass hysteria, but clips of the audio still circulate, and they're chilling. The government denies their authenticity, but acoustics experts say the sounds aren't natural echoes. There's something moving, something alive. But moving where? Ham radio operators often intercept strange transmissions, but one in particular has never been decoded. In 1995, a series of signals on an isolated frequency began repeating daily, always at the same time, and seemed to vibrate from underground. When traced, the signal's source pointed directly to the center of the Earth. Cryptographers tried to interpret the sequence, but claimed it was non-human mathematical language. The pattern resembled fractals, naturally occurring shapes also found in ancient divine symbols across cultures. Theorists proposed that someone down there was trying to communicate with us. Then it got weirder. As this story gained traction online, the frequency went dark, like the sender was silenced or discovered. Since then, nothing like it has ever been heard again. But those who did hear it were never the same. Most people think the Bible is just symbolic. But what if it holds real references to a hidden world below? In the book of Job, it says, "Hell is naked before him, and destruction has no covering." And in Philippians, we read, "Every knee shall bow in heaven, on earth, and under the earth." Is that just metaphor? Some scholars argue that the Hebrew word Sheol in the Old Testament refers to a physical location, not just a spiritual one, described as deep, hidden, and inaccessible to the living. Revelation also mentions beings rising from the abyss when a seal is broken. Are these symbolic or literal? Even more eerie, multiple ancient cultures, Egyptian, Greek, Hindu, speak of underground realms with the same traits: inner light, guardians, forbidden knowledge. If so many traditions point to the same place, why are we still calling it myth? Nikola Tesla once said something few understood. Earth is like a living battery. He believed free energy could be harnessed, not from the sun, but from deep within the planet. His Wardenclyffe Tower was designed to access this inner force. but the project was mysteriously shut down. Some say Tesla discovered a mysterious energy field pulsing from the Earth's core, one that felt unstable, almost conscious. He described vibrations and patterns that didn't follow physics as we know it. Shortly after, he started speaking of extraterrestrial communications, but never said if they were from space or from below. The strangest part? After his death, the US government seized his notes. Many were never released. In some sketches, Tesla detailed resonance between internal Earth layers, like something within was responding. But responding to what? During World War II, Nazi Germany funded mysterious expeditions to Antarctica. Declassified post-war documents show they weren't after territory, but something much older. The operation, known as New Schwabenland, aimed to find access to the hollow Earth, and some records suggest they succeeded. Maps found in Himmler's bunker outline subterranean routes connected to an inner base through glacial tunnels. Submarines disappeared in the area, never to return. And after the war, Allied aircraft detected metallic activity under the ice, as if something was being built from the inside out. What's even more disturbing? Some theorists claim Nazi elites never died, but relocated underground, waiting to return with technology beyond our understanding. Sounds insane, if it weren't for the number of sealed files surrounding this case. But those files are starting to leak. In 2019, a document released via FOIA Freedom of Information Act slipped through the media CEP's radar. It detailed a DARPA and Air Force meeting discussing gravitational anomalies in deep underground zones. One haunting phrase was scribbled in pen at the end. "It's CEP's not natural, it's CEP's alive." That one sentence set the Hollow Earth community on fire. The document disappeared soon after, but copies remained. It described deep listening equipment, capturing unexplained movement in regions with no seismic activity, as if something was crawling beneath us. What were they trying to hide? Why release the file only to erase it later? And who wrote that chilling note? If they knew what was down there, what else do they know that we don't? Few people realize this, but commercial flights are banned over the poles. The official reason? Risk of navigation errors due to magnetic fields. But experienced pilots say that explanation no longer makes sense with modern avionics. So, what are they hiding? Some ex-military pilots claim that when nearing certain polar coordinates, instruments went haywire. Airlines that tried to explore faster polar routes were shut down without reason. And satellite images of these zones are often blurred or digitally obscured by fake cloud coverage. If there's nothing there, why such secrecy? And if the poles are truly gateways to Earth's interior, like the Agartha legends say, then maybe, just maybe, someone doesn't want us to see the truth. But there's still one more piece to this puzzle. Since childhood, we're taught Earth is a solid globe with a molten core. But what if that version is only half the story? What if, behind the scientific model, lies something older, deeper and intentionally kept secret? Countless ancient cultures speak of worlds within worlds, realms where time flows differently. Alternative scientists argue that gravitational glitches, magnetic anomalies, and zones of absolute silence could point to a hollow, breathing structure beneath us, a kind of planetary organism. If that's true, we're not just living on Earth, we're part of something living. And maybe that something is about to wake up, because the signs are becoming too frequent to ignore. Strange sounds, missing people, blocked data. Everything points to a massive secret buried right under our feet. But what if that secret is breaking free? If this is real, what else have they been hiding? What if there are entire cities down there, watching us, influencing us, waiting? Are earthquakes, magnetic shifts, and those haunting sounds just nature, or warnings that something is awakening? What would governments do if this truth came out? How many layers of lies must be stacked to bury a secret this deep? If this content made you think, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with someone who also deserves to know the truth.